Give me a second to think about that. The best business ever launched today. Oh, what a great question. All right, so there's a number of things that pop into mind. So Hewlett and Packard was an incredible business because of the amount of companies it spun out. We don't think of Hewlett and Packard as like the most amazing business, but it actually gave birth to the entire Silicon Valley technology ecosystem, and the people who started that business really were revolutionaries at the time. And that kind of, you can trace back Microsoft and Apple and Facebook and all these businesses to that one. So that pops into mind. Microsoft, for the fact that the Gates actually is giving all of his money away and has also inspired the Giving Pledge, where he's getting billionaires around the world to give money away, is also pops to mind. As much as this will be contentious, Facebook, in the sense that it's completely connected the world and it's causing trouble in the short term. I'm pessimistic on Facebook in the short term, but optimistic in the long term to social media. But let me scrap all of that, and I'll share with you another business that I think is one of the greatest businesses ever launched. It's a tiny little business called Nalu, and it's launched by a 16-year-old girl and her 14-year-old brother in Bali, Indonesia. They're traveling with their parents through India. They notice that that children are excluded from school if they don't have a school uniform. The school uniform is £5 to £10, $5 to $10, and that there's literally these girls getting kicked out of school for not having, because they can't afford a school uniform. Little boys getting kicked out of school after the age of 12. They have to have a school uniform. And she finds this 16-year-old girl finds this problem in the world. And she goes back to Bali and she creates a surfing brand with her brother. And she literally launches this little surfing brand, really high quality products, ethically sourced. And then she launches it. And for every t-shirt that you buy, there's a percentage that goes towards creating school uniforms. And she goes on and she creates thousands of school uniforms that keep girls and kids and boys in school, and basically it solves a real meaningful problem in the world, and it does it through a scalable entrepreneurial solution. And I choose that not so much as the greatest business ever created, but I choose that as an example of what's possible in the time that we're living in. So what excites me a lot more than the Microsofts and the Facebooks and the trillion-dollar companies and the ones that kind of monopolize an industry is I really love geeking out on the idea that we live in a time where it's possible very easily and cheaply for anyone to come up with an entrepreneurial idea, to connect some dots, to have a great product, to have an ethical product, to solve a meaningful problem in the world, to become scalable and successful along the way. And as there's so many great things that came out of that Nalu story. She ended up getting personally mentored by one of the top fashion people in the world and getting put through New York Fashion School and all of this sort of stuff. But we live in a world where this stuff's possible, where a teenager can solve a global problem and can be focused on building a business like that. So it's not so much that that's the greatest business, but it's a great example of what's happening, and it's happening all over the world, and there's thousands and thousands of businesses that are starting up in this entrepreneur revolution. What I find really inspiring is that, right, the little example of the person who lives life on their own terms, who enjoys the success, creates some fruits of their labor, solves a meaningful problem in the world, enjoys fun, enjoys the success, and feels confident that they're doing something great in the world.